la raza. I lie, I cheat, I steal. I lie, I cheat, I steal. Yo, mamacita, I got that passion effect along los mujeres. Fall in love with that Latin charm. One woman isn't enough, amigo. Siempre cogiendo más mujeres porque soy latino. And I'm tougher than tough, part of your blood, cuz. I lie, I cheat, I steal. I lie, I cheat, I steal. I don't care if you don't like me. Everybody wants to fight me. You feel it? Hey, oye lo claro, I ain't the one you wanna meet. Hay nada más caliente, I'm too hot for you. Yo, Latino heat. The streets of the ghetto at the end of the week. I get to keep building that.
I thought it was better, no better way to open the show, obviously, with Eddie Guerrero, who passed away 2 days from Monday, 18 years ago, 2 days from Monday, in 2005. Obviously, near and dear to our wrestling fandom lineage with Eddie. And I just wanted to start off with a tribute to Eddie Guerrero. Obviously one of the best luchadors of all time, one of the best wrestlers of all time, bringing the luchador style to the main stage, especially with WCW in the mid-90s, and just blossoming from there, going to WWE, paving his own way and reaching the mountaintop in 2004, winning the WWE Undisputed title from Brock Lesnar. A monumental moment for him, Latin wrestlers, luchadors. But I just wanted to start off with just mentioning Eddie Guerrero and what do you guys remember from Eddie Guerrero, his career, best moments, Eddie in general?
Well, I think it'd only be right that the number one fan of Eddie Guerrero take this first. So we go ahead.
Yeah, I know. As I don't know if anybody heard, but I was definitely singing that song because no, not even every. The main wrestling game I ever played was SmackDown Here Comes the Pain, and all my intros was always that song, Lowrider. Eddie was life. Eddie was Eddie was definitely. It was. I don't even know if it was more of a thing that he looked like me. I don't know. Maybe that was probably like the big factor. But I don't know. I felt it's funny because I remember seeing Eddie coming in to WWE. I didn't really watch him as a kid in WCW, but I remember him coming in as Latino Heat. You know, just like the Roses, and I remember he had the stuff with China and stuff like that. And then to see his progression. You know, and when he started bringing out the lowriders, him and Chavo, obviously all the lying, the cheating, the stealing. You know, I feel like I hadn't seen anybody. I guess you probably wasn't even a heel at the time, just using these tactics and getting over so much, whether it was just like banging the mat with the chair and then being like, oh, he took me out. And then the ref's like, what did you do? Belt, you know, just a great character. And for me, definitely him. I've said this before. My parents didn't buy the pay-per-views, so I didn't get to see that spectacular win. I had to see the highlights on the next day, but that was a great, obviously as older, got to see it. And that was a great moment. Watching that match now, it's like, and even watching the promos he did before that match was like, that man was passionate about wrestling. He put everything into that run, all the demons he was fighting, it's well documented that, he had substance abuse issues and stuff, but to come out on top, and reaching his goal and proving to everybody that, you work hard, you get there. It's just a shame that he's still not around to know how many people he's influenced. And he's one of the main people why I love wrestling. So definitely captivated my heart for sure.
Mm-hmm. It's weird when you think about it, like how influential Eddie Guerrero is to a lot of talent and to a lot of promotions these days. I mean, Lewis mentioned it, the whole flopping gimmick that he started in professional wrestling. But think about it: flopping in professional wrestling, or acting like the other guy attacked him. You wouldn't even think that would be a concept in an art form like professional wrestling, where you already have people who say it's fake and everything. But the fact that Eddie Guerrero was able to take that and make it a gimmick to the point that in every promotion has at least done that spot of acting like they got hit with a chair and acting knocked out. That's all Eddie Guerrero. That's very influential. That's how influential he was. But I always go back to when he beat Brock Lesnar for the title, like Daniel mentioned. It's funny because as kids, when we were younger and we watched him win the title, we were excited and we were ecstatic. And now when we think about it now, as adults, and you really like think about like how the direction the company was in at the time. I mean, Eddie Guerrero won the title, and then a month later, Chris Benoit won the title at WrestleMania. So you really saw how the company was like changing directions as far as with their top talent. You had Eddie Guerrero and Chris Benoit, two guys who were known as like your lower mid card guys in WCW. Couldn't really reach the brass ring because of WCW's politics, to then be signed by WWE, kind of go through their own trials and tribulations there, and eventually they both reach the top of the zenith. Now, obviously, Chris Benoit's drama is also well documented, so we're not into that. But as far as Eddie goes, I always go back to him winning that championship against Brock Lesnar, because I don't even think at the time anybody even called that. To actually
not at all.
The reaction of the crowd. I think we mentioned in our very first episode, we always talk about the match he had at Halloween Havoc with Rey Mysterio, and how it still stands the test of time today, and how people still go back to that match as one of their favorites for Eddie Guerrero. But the man was a trendsetter, and I don't know if you guys can remember the day that he actually passed away. I think it was that 05. So I think we so if that's 05, no, November 05, were we all freshmen in high school at that time? Or eighth graders in middle school?
I think that's right before high school.
Yeah, right.
Yeah,
So right
before high school.
Yeah, we're eighth grade.
Like I can actually remember going home and going on WWE.com and seeing the first tagline that Eddie Guerrero passes away, and it was such a shock, and it was so surprising, so out of left field. And they had a press conference with Vincent Chavo up on the site, and to hear Chavo talk about him in the hotel room, how we found him unconscious and such. I mean, it still like sticks out to me even all these years later. But Eddie Guerrero, it's been 18 years. I mean, he's a trendsetter. He's an influencer. I mean, so many guys. I mean, the Three Amigos suplex. How many times have we seen that move done amongst WWE, AEW, and such? So, like I said, trendsetter, influencer, and man, imagine all of the great matches all the great matches and opponents he could have had if he was still here. Like.
You guys summed it up perfectly. I just think about just seeing his career building up from being a cruiserweight in WCW. I didn't even know about the Art Bar stuff like in ECW and the independents before that. So finding out that stuff in recent history, just seeing his tag team work in that area, I just remember him being an asshole to Chavo in WCW, just being that tough uncle on Chavo and putting him through the ringer, seeing that progression, seeing his battles with Rey Mysterio, Chris Jericho, Diamond Dallas Page in WCW. He goes to WWE, joins with the Radicals, who at that time were just like the kind of like the WWF outsiders, right? Coming into that form, and just those guys wreaking havoc. And kudos to those guys, Demon Linko, Perry Saturn, Chris Benoit, Eddie Guerrero. They all went as a team, but then they all branched off and found their own success in various different ways. So to see that impact from the Radical standpoint, and then him going on to being with China and Mamacita, and his face turn at that point in time, because I believe he was a heel when he went after China and stuff like that. And seeing his humor even then. branching from that, being in the tag team division, I believe, was he with the SmackDown 6?
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was a part of the
Was that
SmackDown
him?
6.
Was that
Yeah,
Stereo? Yeah, Angle
yeah,
and
he was.
Benoit.
Yeah, he was a
So
part of
to
that
be
group.
in that, that was like 2002. So to see him be a part of that also is a part of tag team history and those banger matches and all those types of matches. Goes and gets the U.S. title and then main events. I believe it was in San Diego. No Way Out 2004 was to have the crowd behind him, to have that type of match with Brock Lesnar at that time, who was leaving. That was a pretty good damn match between those two. Turns around and puts on a great matches with Kurt Angle at WrestleMania. And just continues to just put out banger and banger and banger with Rey Mysterio again and all these other things like that. And then even when he was on his way towards his passing, the work he was doing with Batista, it was going to be awesome to see where that direction that was going to go to as well. So you just see the transformation of Eddie Guerrero throughout his career, is continuing to reach new heights, continuing to put over guys, continuing to invent his style in luchador in a different way that nobody else we really haven't seen done. And to see how many people he's influenced, seeing how his legacy continues, is awesome. So, and definitely deserves to be remembered, cherished, championed. Eddie Guerrero, man, one of the greats, one of the guys I grew up watching, we all grew up watching. So, just to pay respect to Eddie Guerrero, who passed away 18 years ago for Monday. Just want to say thank you for bringing us to wrestling and being one of those guys that we will always remember. And I'll continue to move on from there. We can get into this being episode 41 of Ring Takes. We're going to be talking about all the heel turns that happened. It seemed like this was the weekend, this corner section of the week for WWE to turn everybody heel and make some changes. With Survivor Series on the horizon, we're also going to be talking about a potential Randy Orton return that has been rumbling a little bit there, and get into a little bit of AEW Full Gear. But I wanted to start off with continuing with luchadors here. Santos Escobar finally turns on Rey Mysterio. We've been begging for this for a while now. Santos Escobar finally turning on Rey Mysterio. Everyone alluding to him leaving the brass knucks near Logan Paul at Crown Jewel. After a match with Carlito and Bobby Lashley, Santos Escobar basically let the beatdown happen. Rey Mysterio comes out, chastises him for it. They get into a little back and forth, and wham! Santos Escobar finally turns on him and puts him down and hurts Rey Mysterio. What do you guys think about the heel turn, and what do you guys think about what direction this is going to be going for Santos Escobar, LWO, and Carlito? What do you guys think?
Well, I do want to say that there were two of us that were hoping for this, and one of us was just didn't want any more heel stables in the WWE. So, let's get that right. Let's get that right. But like I said from the very beginning, when they put the LWO together, and Santos was a baby face, and Cruz del Toro and Joaquin Wild, when they first brought this whole group together, I felt like that they didn't have like the swagger that they had in Legado del Fantasma and NXT. I mean, obviously Rey Mysterio being the leader, obviously they had to take a back seat, but I just felt that they were their strongest when they were heels. And I'm glad that this is finally has sped up. I guess apparently I read a report that I guess Rey Mysterio is set to undergo like his 30th knee surgery.
30th, Jesus.
Yeah. well, I'm exaggerating, but you guys remember those WWE commercials?
You might not be.
At home.
You
saying, I got surgery in my left knee. I got like 6 surgeries in my left knee. So his knee, he's got a bunch of knee surgery. So that's why they shot the angle with him stuck behind the steel steps and Santos kicking the steps. But it's about time. We've been clamoring for a heel Santos. We felt that that's when he was at his strongest in NXT. And like I said last week, those little nuggets that they were giving you, and then you had what happened at the PLE with Santos visibly leaving the brass knuckles right in front of Logan Paul, and I love the fact that Carlito actually brought it up on SmackDown. See, now we're seeing the WWE creative is actually making these guys have common sense for once after all these years where it seems as though the booking was the opposite. So now we're gonna see that heel Santos. Whether or not that includes the rest of Legado del Fantasma we'll see. We saw Zelina Vega's reaction to the whole thing, the great acting performance she put on with the crying and such. So it may take a while for them to eventually get everybody. But
Brie Bella.
we got a strong start with Santos finally.
Mm-hmm. It's about goddamn time. Yeah, like said, I think we've been wanting this from the beginning. Yeah, they brought him in as baby faces, and we finally got the damn heel turn, which I'm so happy. And I actually find it pretty funny that it was Carlito who came in. We're like, you know whose fault this is, and it's like, oh, look at Carlito coming over here stirring the pot. I'm all for it. I'm just curious how they're gonna go about it. I think that's just the part, because I think I don't know, but Brian might agree or not with it. I think we all kind of just wanted the whole group heel, not the entire, but at least Santos, and the other two guys be that heel faction again. I don't know where Zelina's gonna stand on this. Is she gonna be sad and then be like, no, I'm with you guys? And does this mean that Ray is actually out? Is the surgery for real? I'm assuming so, because it looked like he was actually wrapped up and everything. So I don't know, but I'm really interested to see. I hope this isn't another bloodline type thing where he beats the crap out of them and they just join him. But we'll see. I mean, I'm here for it. I wonder if Ray's not in the picture. I just don't know. Is it just going to be Santos going against Carlito for a while or something? Or is he just going to legit take everybody out? Like, either you're with me or I'm going to kick your ass. I don't know. So, or is he going to get a new feud with another baby face or whatever? I don't know. So I'm really intrigued to see in what direction this is going to go. If Ray's going to be in it or not. If he's not, I really don't know which way they're going to go, but we'll see.
And I think that's probably, just thinking now that we're behind the attack, the heel turn, I'm just thinking that maybe that's why Carlito was brought back, to probably set up that feud between him and Santos, and having Carlito and Santos battle, because now we know that Ray's going to have knee surgery. He's going to be out for, I don't know, maybe it's something, just a small procedure, so he's back by Mania so they can bring it all together full circle. But just looking at it, I just feel like that's probably why they called back Carlito. They finally found an angle where he can come in and actually get some ring work in. From Santos, this is something that he's basically need. He's not a baby face. When you look at him when he was in NXT and stuff like that with his faction, that was badass. Like, that's what made him Santos Escobar, like the gimmick, the heritage, all the stuff they did, the attacks. It was a mob mentality that you kind of got from that group. So now that Santos has kind of did that and went back on his own, I feel like that he should obviously get his buddies, his tag team, Wild and Cruz, to join him and reform that. And I think that's going to be the story that they're going to tell, and see how that goes. I don't know what the deal is with Zelina Vega. Obviously she showed that she can hang on her own in the ring and stuff like that with her past performances and stuff like that. So maybe that's something that they're going to explore. Obviously, I don't know if she's going to turn heel. They do have Elektra Lopez down in NXT. I believe she was originally with the group, right?
She was. Yep.
So I mean, if anything,
she was in it. She was in it.
Yeah, she was there early. She was like the original
Zelina.
Yeah, she was the original woman member of the group. So I don't see why they couldn't just bring her up and have her formulate that. In terms of what Carlito kind of needed something, right? Because Carlito came back, he had the song change. We heard reports that they didn't know what to do with him. He can battle Santos Escobar. They need something to rub off on each other. Santos already took out one Latin star, right? One Latin legend. He can take out another one in Carlito, and they can kind of build that storyline over the next couple of months. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go on that for sure. But finally, Santos turned on him. Enough of the baby face, enough of the smiles, enough of saying like Rey Mysterio is my hero and all this other stuff. Enough of that. Let's get to the heel tactics. Let's get this up. Happy for Santos.
Yeah. Do you think there's going to be a future interaction with Santos and Dom?
Oh yeah, for sure.
I think that's gonna be that's it.
I did say I wanted Dom to be the leader of the LWO.
Mommy won't let him.
I did say that, and you guys shitted on it. So.
No,
Mommy won't let him.
No.
Well, I mean, if Ray and Dom were still the central figures, then I guess you can kind of finagle Dom being the leader. But do you really want Santos to be like the second in command to Dominic Mysterio? Yeah,
Nah, he needs to bring back the suits, bring back the gold chains, everything. Like, bring everything back.
The mask? Didn't he have the mask? Didn't he have the mask too?
Took it off, I think, when he first appeared.
Or was that off before then?
Oh no, he had the mask.
When he first came.
Debuted with the mask because I remember he was in that cruiserweight tournament or whatever. And then he won the tournament with the mask, and then he took the mask off, and then said, "I'm Santos." Yeah.
Good. Yeah. Okay, so we don't need the mask, but no, that's great. I feel like this is a good change for Santos. Hopefully, they continue to build him up and have him be a force to be reckoned with. Title opportunities, even for the tag team, Cruising Wild. Hopefully, they get a tag team. They should be taken seriously and get some chances there. So we'll see what happens with that. Let's move on to another turn, I guess. Asuka and Kairi Sane join Damage Control. Kairi Sane returning at Crown Jewel, leading up to Bayley's skepticism. They're on SmackDown to open up SmackDown. Basically letting bygones be bygones. They basically said, hey, Kairi said, basically, I accept your apology. No hard feelings. And then now she's a part of Damage Control. Setting up Bianca Belair, Charlotte, and Asuka to come out, setting up a six woman tag later in the match, later in the night, and we get another turn per se. Asuka blowing the mist in Bianca Belair's face again, and turning heel and joining Damage Control, joining Kairi Sane, joining Bayley, Dakota Kai, and Io Sky. What do you guys think about that? Adding Asuka to that group in the formation of Damage Control getting bigger.
Louis, you want to take this first?
Yeah. I think it's finally coming to the end of Damage Control. I don't see this lasting very long or ending well for Bayley. I don't know if this is going to give her like a kind of baby face turn. I don't know, because I feel like she's kind of been healed for like a while now. It's been working for her, but as the breadcrumbs have been dropped, she's not going to go back.
Daniel, that character is dead.
Oh, they can bring it back. You know what's going to happen? You know what's going to happen, Brian?
I'm telling you.
You know what's going to happen? Somebody's going to go up to her after she gets after she gets kicked out of Damage Control. She's going to get a nice big hug. And she's like, you know what? I need to spread these again. That's how it's going to go.
Okay.
She's going to go on a campaign.
Yep.
All right. Before I go, I'm gonna address that. That is a great idea, but there's only one person who would pull that off. You guys remember that girl that used to have her hair in a ponytail at NXT? I think her name was like Izzy. She was like the number one like Bayley fan.
Yeah.
And she was like training to become. She's training like a wrestler right now. it only works if she's the one that she's the one to do it, because everybody knows
gives us a hug.
everyone knows that she's the super Bailey fan. If they get her and they do a backstage,
that would be the most amazing storytelling of Full Circle ever.
Yeah,
you lost your way, baby.
Long-term booking.
Yes, long-term booking at its best. But I love that Asuka turn, because I think we mentioned it last week about the possibility of this Japanese stable that they're putting together. Obviously, minus Saray, who signed with another promotion, but they have to be very careful with how they book this, because let's be serious. Everybody in their mother knows that Bailey is going to get dropped in the coming weeks or in the coming months, or Bailey is eventually going to get dropped by this group. Everybody knows it's coming. So because of that, they have to be very careful with how they do it, because Bailey has been so good as a heel and has gotten so much disdain amongst the fans that if they were to just drop her right now, everybody would be cheering for them and booing Bailey. So I think the direction they're trying to go in is to make this group of Japanese women vicious heels, trying to create another bloodline or another Judgment Day within the women's division. I mean, that's essentially what you would have. So Bailey has been so good as a heel that, like, they booked the breakup right now and they all just jumped her, everybody would be cheering for it, because everybody loves Io. I mean, people still love Asuka, and they'll get used to Kairi Sane again. Which on top, by the way, I don't like the fact that she's still portraying the pirate princess gimmick. I like I know that's what she came in as and such, but I just think that she's above and beyond that now.
She's a dark pirate now.
I mean, dark pirate, good pirate. I just think she's out.
I thought she was going to be more of like the punk rock with Io Sky.
Exactly. That's exactly what I was thinking, that she was going to be.
And I feel like the pirate princess is her babyface character. Like, that's her babyface character.
That's what I was thinking. Like the whole princess thing is just too babyface now.
She rides on a black ship now. You know, it's all black.
Davy Jones and them.
Yep, Davy Jones Locker.
I know, and Dakota Kai isn't going anywhere, because obviously she has that connection with them through Japan and such, since she got her start in Japan. So she fits with those three in that aspect. But yeah, like I said, they just gotta be careful with how they book it. I mean, if the goal is for them to be vicious heels, then they can't just drop Bailey so fast, because then everybody will be happy that Bailey is getting her comeuppance in the sense.
Yeah, see, I was talking to Dan about
would
this.
Michael Cole turn on her?
Yeah, I was talking to Dan about this. I'm like, do we think that Dakota's staying? Because, you know, I feel like she's been kind of like the Bailey ride or die, and just to see her kind of get squashed out, she either would have had to have planned this with Io way beforehand, or it's gonna be like, you know what, I'm just gonna go with people that are winning, you know. So I don't know. It's gonna be interesting. What I just thought of right now is that I feel like this is the way, if we see this play out like this, where, you know, she gets kind of taken out, or like, you're not the leader anymore, you're out of damage control. I feel like she's kind of being like a Miz position, where, like, yeah, she's still a heel, but she'll kind of be in that babyface role. And then who's gonna then go against this group? Charlotte, Bianca, and now you're probably gonna have Bailey, Shotzi too, and then Bailey probably groveling to them like, "Come on, guys, I'm sorry, blah blah blah. Let's take him out, you know, this and this and that." And that's how I kind of like get the vibe from it. But we'll see how it's gonna go. It's definitely gonna be. I hope they don't.
I feel like.
Go ahead.
Sorry about that. I feel like it's gonna be kind of like Bailey trying to get people to trust her again.
Yeah,
kind of like Sting, kind of like Sting in WCW, or I can't remember what Lex Luger, like those guys just trying to get people to trust them again and believe in them again. And everyone's kind of be like, no. And then eventually they're going to be getting beat down at some point, and then she's going to come out and make the save and get the big ruckus of the crowd and stuff like that. So it's definitely interesting to see what they're going to be doing with that. Seeing Asuka in a different role, being in the secondary role is going to be interesting. And, you know, she had all the back and forth with Io Sky and stuff like that. So obviously that's water underneath the bridge now. Yeah. But it's going to be interesting to see how Bianca Belair goes forward. Charlotte goes forward against them. Shotzi obviously looks like an ally of them. So it's going to be interesting to see how that goes forward and how that makes sense, because Charlotte and Bianca should be facing each other. They're going to actually be teaming up against Damage Control. Shotzi is kind of like the most out of place person that we want to see in a rise position on the women's division. So it's going to be good, obviously, that she's going to be paired with Charlotte and Bianca, obviously, in that setting. So obviously we're just waiting to see what happens with Bayley at this point and how she gets back to her position. Is she going to be kicked out? How long is they going to keep her around? But it should get interesting. I think it's going to happen. There's going to be some type of match at Survivor Series. Either she causes them to lose and they kick her ass out that way, or they win and they just continue it and try to milk it so it's done. So it's done further down the line, maybe around the Rumble or something like that towards WrestleMania time. But it's going to get interesting. Definitely going to get interesting.
Yeah, definitely. And the whole interesting thing about it is, you know, when you think about Bayley, like I said, I think the hugger gimmick is dead. I mean, if you want to, like I said,
what else is she gonna be?
I'm just saying. I mean, when you remember how she went about when she made the character change, destroying the Bayley buddies and getting rid of the ponytail out of her hair. I mean, when you look at that
know if the world was going to end tomorrow, Brian.
when you look at how the characters go, I mean, there's some instances with some characters where you just can't go back, no matter how creatively that you book it. You just can't go back. Mm-hmm. I mean, there've been plenty of times I wish they didn't go back. I mean, how many times like back in the Attitude Era was did Dustin Rundle say he was done with Goldust only for like a couple of months later for Goldust to reappear? Like, and they made it clear like, okay, Goldust is dead. We're not going back to this again, and they would eventually go back to it, and it would never be the same. So I just think I just think, is there a way that Bayley can be a heel without being the hugger? I mean, be a baby face without her having the hug gimmick.
It'd have to be a new, like, I don't know. It'd have to be a new, and this is why I say it'd be like to me, it'd be like in a Miz type of like position where he is now. It's like, we all know the Miz is a heel. I feel like majority of people have known Bayley now more recently as a heel. So for her to get kicked out, it's going to be like, I'm still, the heel I was, but now I need to get people's trust in order to fight the group that I created, kind of like dare I say it, kind of like Edge getting kicked out of the Judgment Day and be like, well, I guess I got to
Oh, yeah. And another thing, because it looks like there's going to be a women's war game match that they're probably going to announce this Friday on SmackDown. They're probably going to end up being 4-on-4. Mm-hmm. So if that is the case, who ends up being the fourth member for Team Bianca, Charlotte, and Shotzi?
Bayley.
A storm is coming.
Do you want to do that so?
A storm is coming.
That so soon? That's what I mean.
Oh, a storm is coming. A storm is coming.
A storm is coming.
I don't know. Nah, that's not the right time to debut Jade. You want Jade's debut to be special, like her on her own. If you throw her in here with these other seven superstars, then she doesn't stand out as much. She's just
what other women are on SmackDown? I feel like I'm forgetting, or is that everyone?
I mean, Lewis, that pretty much is everyone.
Oh, that's everyone.
SmackDown Women's Division. Remember how we said they had like the top, they had like the four
from
top
versus from women? Raw, who had
nothing, no one
versus from Raw, who just trotted out 20 plus, just throwing out 20 plus women in the Battle Royal. On SmackDown. It feels like this is it. But no, I feel like it's kind of like Jade in a War Games match coming out and they don't bring her out. They keep her as a mystery partner. She comes out last.
Yeah.
I mean, she comes and makes the big save, puts everybody down. That's a way to do it, but it's like that hurts Damage Control, who obviously we're trying to build up. So I can see them not going that direction, but it's like if we're gonna start planting the seeds here, I feel like she has to make her debut. Like I would want it to be at the Rumble because I feel like that's probably the best place in Tampa in that type of atmosphere, that stadium. I feel like that would be the best place. But I can see her. I don't see Bailey being there. Dakota Kai is not cleared yet.
There's another one.
It's gonna have to be Bailey. It's gonna have to be Bailey in War Games, you know. So I mean, to even up that, I don't know if it's somebody from NXT or something like that. I don't know.
They could do a call up.
I feel like Jade could be a possibility.
They haven't called up any female NXT people in a while, so I don't know.
I mean, they all been called up to Raw.
No,
Tegan Knox, Zoe Stark,
Tegan Knox was already
Rodriguez.
There. Tegan Knox was already
like
there.
all of them.
No, hold on.
All of them been called up to Raw though.
Yeah.
What about like a Roxanne Perez though?
See, I would like to see that, but if she's gonna be the fourth member, I don't think that would be the right spot for her because obviously whenever you're doing stuff like that, whenever you do stuff like that, the fourth mystery opponent, it really has to be like a game changer. And I don't think Roxanne would be the game changer for a War Games match.
Hulk Hogan. He's the mystery man. Comes out, drops the leg drop. Writes itself. Writes itself.
Yeah, you said Hogan.
Yeah, but in terms of I don't know. Like, wait, I did see something earlier. It could be I'm thinking. I know they've done this. I know they went to the well before. But Mickie James seems to have is done with Impact at the moment. I don't know. I don't know. I did see that at the last minute, so I don't know if that's an addition that they can just pull out of their hat and say, "Hey, Mickie James is on the War Games match." I don't know what her direction on SmackDown or WWE would be at that point, but that's an option there.
Nick, make the call.
Trish Stratus, she's been good in cage matches.
Nick, make the call, Nick.
Who did you say?
I said Nick Aldis, make the call. That's all it takes is one call. One call.
I forgot.
Wifey, pull up.
I forgot about that. They are married, yeah.
Wifey, pull up. That's easy.
That's easy. I was joking. Trish Stratus, she's good in cage matches.
No, I actually
put on bangers in cage matches out of nowhere.
I actually just pulled up SmackDown's women's division right now, and realistically, the only person that hypothetically would make sense would be Mia Yim Michin.
She hasn't been in anything.
See you guys' reaction. Yeah. That says a lot. So they might have to go outside of the roster of SmackDown.
I like her.
SmackDown to get some.
I do too, but she would have to show up like the weeks following up or something. I don't know. It can't be like that. Wouldn't be like a mystery surprise.
If she comes back, she can't be in her regular ring gear. She has to be the Asian badass, like with her jeans and her boots, beating up people. She can't just come back regular. She can't come back regular. That's the only edge I can see out of it. But outside of that, I don't know.
I know some people.
Roxanne Perez is probably the person that you would think.
I know some people were throwing out Becky Lynch.
No,
but it's like
she's on Raw.
Yeah, she's on Raw. And now apparently she's a part of this this group effort to get Xia Li over.
I'm still not liking that effort, but we'll talk about that later.
I mean, Lou,
it took a turn.
They're trying. They really are trying.
It's not paying off.
I mean, she was on TV back to back. She was on TV back to back nights on Raw and on NXT. So they're trying with Xia Li.
But
they're
those terrible. Oh, the kick knocked her out. Like. It's not even believable. Like one of the kicks, like hit her in the shoulder or something. It's like, oh, and it's like, it's not even believable. Like it would be one thing if she pulled like a Aleister Black and did the roundhouse and was like, boom, and then like, oh snap, knocked him out. But it's
so
like
what they need to do, what they need to do,
like, oh, I took her out.
what they need to do is have her deliver a kick to the gut and then do the roundhouse to the head. That's what they need. Because if she's fighting a taller opponent, she's not going to reach all the time consistently.
Especially like Indy Hartwell.
So they need to have her kick a person in the gut. Yeah, like I think it was the shoulder. I think that's where she kicked her in the shoulder. It was like, we know she didn't get kicked in the head. But I mean, yeah. Thanks for Becky Lynch for trying to help that effort there for sure. But in terms of a mystery woman, I don't know. Jade Cargill would be the person that they would pull out for a War Games match. But I just feel like that was just
her a lot.
control.
I feel like at this point, why not?
Everywhere.
Yeah, I'm like at this point, why not? But
I just feel like that's just
Go ahead.
I just feel like it's just they'll just be too physically imposing.
Yeah,
like Bianca Belair, Charlotte,
the high flyers versus the powerhouses, I guess.
And Jade Cargill just clotheslining them out of the sky. Yeah. I just feel like there would be too. You got Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair and Charlotte on the same team.
Exactly.
Just beating the hell out of them. Like, come on. Like, it's crazy. But now we're gonna see who the mystery opponent is. It's gonna be interesting if they do if it is a War Games match, or is it gonna be a traditional Survivor Series match? That's the question. So that's gonna be interesting to see if they do that and see how that turns out. Let's get into probably the biggest heel turn that we've probably been waiting for. That would be Drew McIntyre officially joining the Judgment Day. Obviously, a big brawl broke out there with on Monday Night Raw between the baby faces in the Judgment Day, Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso and those guys. Adam Pearce goes into a tizzy, bans the Judgment Day from the tag team title match later in the night from ringside. There, he said the arena, so eventually he kicked them all out. So we got Damian Priest and Finn Balor versus Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso. And then out of nowhere, during the middle of the match, towards the end of the match, Drew McIntyre appears. Claymores Jey Uso, throws him in the ring. Judgment Day get the win. 1, 2, 3. Drew walks to the top of the aisle and shakes Mommy's hand. And there we are. We have our heel turn. We have officially Drew McIntyre joined the Judgment Day. What do you guys think about this?
Like Lewis said a couple of weeks ago, he was teetering. He was teetering in between being a heel and a babyface, and the loss against Seth Rollins has finally sent him over the edge to finally become a full-fledged heel now. And I must say I like the execution. And even though Lewis is probably going to harass us now because he was the one that properly predicted this was going to happen, but aside from that, I'm glad that we're finally getting this the Scottish Psychopath back on our televisions again. I've already told my story a whole bunch of times about why Drew McIntyre deserves to be paid. We've heard my spiel about it. We know that he held the company down during the pandemic, and that he should be taken care of at this point. But I'm glad that we're finally getting this character change. I feel like people have been waiting for it for so damn long because they remember how good he was as a heel when he had Dolph with him and such. So glad we finally getting a heel Drew McIntyre. And I guess one of us on this panel doesn't agree. So.
Let it be known that this brain right here. Let it be known that this brain, made these predictions. Might as well just call me Charles Xavier or something. I could see into the future. But Daniel refuses to believe my words. He doesn't heed my warnings. He's like, no, he's gonna win that crown jewel. No, he's gonna do this. No, and look what happens. Whew, to the T. To the T. The only thing, it's honestly, yes, he's turned heel, but I am surprised that he's turning heel with the Judgment Day. And I already saw somebody post a thing where like he's in like Judgment Day gear, and I'm like, I even said it. I was like, I don't see Drew. I swear, if he comes out in mascara, I'm throwing the towel away. I'm like, what are we doing? If I see this man with some dark eyeliner around his eyes, I'm like, what the hell are you guys doing? I'm like, he better just come out with at least his hair just like forward, like he did with Dolph, and that's your heel, persona. Right?
Yeah, that's how he needs to come out.
Exactly. I'm like, he doesn't need leather, this purple. That I swear, if he ends up looking like Finn Balor as a purple pirate, it's just gonna destroy all his momentum. So they need to get the look right. I am intrigued to see what they're gonna do with this. Is this gonna lead to a clash between him? Because from my understanding, I feel like this is just gonna lead more to friction with Damian. Because I guarantee Damian didn't know nothing about this, but we'll see. And there's definitely going to be a power struggle because you got two big men. Obviously, Damian's Money in the Bank, but Drew's a fucking powerhouse. So there's going to be that like, oh, who should go take this person out? Crap, is going to be Drew? Is going to be Damian? And I think that's what's going to lead to Damian finally leave, because they've already been dropping breadcrumbs on that too of him leaving the Judgment Day. So he already has his own distrust within the group, and especially with Cody getting under his skin about who's the leader, who's this, and him calling himself the leader, it's not gonna happen. So, but I really just hope the execution matches the action, I guess.
I mean, my take on it, obviously I'm disappointed, and I'm going to say this: Drew McIntyre is a chump. He's a chump.
Why?
He's a chump.
Why?
He's a chump.
Why?
Why does he need the help of anybody?
Because
his whole thing is I don't trust anybody. Nobody helps me.
He's been failing.
He looks like a loser. He's a loser.
Ever since he lost the WWE title, the man has had like multiple title matches and come up short in every single one of them. So, Intercontinental title matches against Roman Reigns, now against Seth. Like, so all these opportunities he has blown. He has shit the bed on all of them. And now he's to the point. Now he's to the point where character wise he needs to change because he's failed on these opportunities. I mean that seems pretty straightforward to me.
Yeah, and I don't see how you can call him the chump. You act like we've never seen this happen before. How many people have joined factions? Look at Evolution.
Drew McIntyre won. Drew McIntyre is a former champion. Drew McIntyre has been in these tough battles with all these big titans in WWE.
Is he a former champion?
And then all of a sudden he gives in. He gives in.
Yeah, we do.
He gives in. He gives in
after
to the Judgment Day, who have been running roughshod over everybody. He's a chump. He's a chump. He can't do it. He's not a champion. He's not a champion. He's not a main eventer. That's what it is. That's what I'm saying. He's not a main eventer. Fortitude.
Not a main eventer.
See, this man is he only goes. He's only throwing all this shade because his predictions were wrong. He can't stand the fact that some of us know how things are gonna go. But now we gotta call him a chump.
That's
and
fine.
A loser.
I'm fine. And listen, his heel turn should have been on his own. He should have been a badass and just been a heel, and then just be conjoined with the Judgment Day. Actually joining them is crazy. He looks like a loser. He looks like a guy who was 0-4 in his last title bouts. All of a sudden, just go into a group because he lost. Come on, come on.
I mean, they cut it.
I don't like it for him.
They cut a deal, And then on top of that, remember he cut a promo with Seth backstage prior, where he pretty much said like, Seth, Seth, you said that at the end of this match that the result that the result, no matter what the result would be, things would be what they are, and he shook Seth's hand. So we assumed that meant that obviously he was going to continue with his babyface ways. At least it was assumed that. So
bait and switch.
Yeah, it was the swerve, bro.
As I said, I just don't like it. I just don't like it for him. And when he comes out in purple tights and mascara, you guys are going to be upset.
When he comes to what?
When he comes out in purple tights and mascara, you guys are going to be.
Did they say he wasn't in the Judgment Day? Did they say he was an ally to the Judgment Day? I mean, they didn't even make that perfectly clear.
He shook Mommy's hand. He shook Mommy's hand.
He could just be the new enforcer.
And again, that's what they're missing for the group, right? I mean, but it's going to be interesting to see what happens with him and Damian Priest. Obviously, Damian Priest was the one that was saying, I'm the leader on Raw. And then he was like, hey, it's only right that I bring JD McDonough into the group. So that's two additions that they brought in. JD McDonough officially becomes a part of the Judgment Day. And then we saw Drew McIntyre join at the end of the night, which it looks like him and Finn and nobody else had an idea of what was happening. So to get that aspect of it and seeing where they're going to continue with that, obviously I think him and Damian are going to be butting heads for leadership of the group. And I think if it's somebody who can turn around and be the de facto leader, it is Drew McIntyre. He's physically imposing. Hopefully he gets a championship out of this somehow. It's going to be interesting to see where they go with this. And I think that's what they're playing up. Maybe Damian and Drew can face each other for the title at some point, or maybe something happens where Damian cashes in and is now champion or something like that. So it's going to be interesting to see where they go from there and see who gets a title shot. What's the pecking order? Obviously, Damian and Finn are still tag champs. So it's going to be interesting to see how that plays out. At what point are they, if they're going to drop the tag team titles, and at what point is Damian Priest going to cash in? Does he have the support of his group behind him or not? And the addition of Drew brings a whole different dynamic to it, which is going to be interesting.
Maybe they'll pull a Evolution
because they can go a bunch.
They'll pull a Evolution. Damian wins the title. Yep, and then
or before it even gets
that would be crazy.
or before it even gets to that, to really show that he's not one of us anymore. Just cost him his money in the bank cashing.
No.
Yeah.
No. If you really he's out of this group now, cost him the money in the bank briefcase.
Hey, Lewis.
Tell me someone who has survived.
God giveth and taketh away.
Tell me someone who has survived a failed cash-in and became champion later on.
Whoa.
Okay, tell me who didn't have the additional power.
Became champion afterwards. That was what I said.
Who he doesn't have. No one has ever had the power of Bad Bunny as an ally. That is his saving grace. Bad Bunny's coming back.
That's the way
And they're not even allies.
Bad Bunny's coming back for WrestleMania.
Each other the last time.
Friends fight. Didn't Triple H and Shawn Michaels get the band back together?
Oh man.
I don't think they should ever go back to that, because that match in Puerto Rico, that atmosphere in Puerto Rico, everything in Puerto Rico that contributed to that was so damn good that I don't even think they should ever go back to it ever again. Because everything in Puerto Rico leads that culminated with that was perfect. So I wouldn't touch it again.
Who is Damian going to team with? Cody Rhodes and Jey Uso, who he's been kicking their ass for the past 6 months? That's who he's going to battle with? That's who he's going to team up with?
He's going to find himself in the same dilemma. I don't know. He's going to find himself in the same dilemma that Jey Uso was in when he first came to Raw, where everyone's going to be looking at him now like, yeah, you were on Judgment Day, you were whipping everybody's ass, so now we don't trust you. It's going to be the same thing.
He can quit. he can quit, go to SmackDown, and then join the LWO. There we go. That's the storyline for Damian Priest. He can join the LWO, a new fresh face to the LWO, and lead that into the new stratosphere. If Santos is on his own or whatever. But we definitely don't want to fail cash in. But it's going to be interesting to see what Drew McIntyre, obviously, because obviously Damian has title aspirations. Drew has title aspirations. So I'm only thinking it's only right that they butt heads at some point. It's going to get interesting to see what happens there. We can move on here to potentially Randy Orton returning at Survivor Series. There's been rumblings of this for a while. He's been gone for almost a year, I want to say. Obviously, Matt Riddle is not there anymore, his tag team partner that he had a successful run with. Obviously recovering from, I don't know if it was back surgery. I believe it was back surgery or something to that degree.
Back surgery.
Fusion.
Yeah, fusion.
So to get that and hearing all the stories of stories of his father saying he doesn't need to come back, he's well off. Like he doesn't, this type of injury, a lot of people don't come back from and stuff like that. But obviously the War Games mayhem to Adam Pearce and everybody, the fights that have been breaking out. Now Drew McIntyre joining the Judgment Day. Cody led Cody Rhodes after a post promo off of Raw saying, me and Jay have friends too, which is interesting because now looking at it from that standpoint, and now everybody's saying it's Randy Orton. Now that everybody's kind of not saying it's CM Punk or anything like that now, it's kind of everybody's kind of pointing the finger that it's Randy Orton. But my thoughts about it are, last time Cody Rhodes was in WWE and when he was not Stardust, the person who was giving him hell was Randy Orton in the Authority. So it would be kind of strange for him to call on Randy Orton, who in the Legacy, he got kicked out the Legacy with Randy Orton. There's been no good track record between those guys. But it'll be interesting. So what do you guys think about the
spoken like stories about Randy and stuff?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Well, they did have a I think it was, remember when Randy Orton had like his 20-year anniversary in the company? Like they had like a little thing on Raw, and they actually had Cody come out, and Cody said like a couple of things about Randy, and they kind of talked about their history and everything together in a positive light. So I think they're past all of that stuff that happened in the early 2010s with the whole story. But as far as Randy Orton goes, Daniel, I think it's actually been longer than the year that he's been out. I think it's been it's felt like almost 2 years, almost a year and a half that he's had this back injury. From a storyline standpoint, if the Bloodline was involved in this War Games match, it would be perfect, because it was technically the Bloodline that took Randy Orton out in the first place storyline wise, and left Matt Riddle on his own. So from that standpoint, it would work. But obviously, Randy Orton is one of those generational talents, whereas then you can throw him into any scenario and people just want to see Randy. So, being a 14-time world champion now at this point, and people just miss Randy Orton. So even though he kind of doesn't really add up to the story, just seeing him with a Cody Rhodes, is enough to justify it. And I just want to say that, like I said last week, if you're not going to give the Chicago crowd CM Punk, which is obvious and straightforward that you're not getting CM Punk, even though CM Punk keeps teasing it on social media to try to get everybody's hopes up. Like, we're not getting CM Punk. But so if you're not giving Chicago CM Punk, you got to give them at least.
We not.
We're not. Well, we all need to let it go.
You got both you guys.
At least not right now. They don't need him for a.
We're getting CM Punk.
At least not right now. Now, if you want to give me a CM Punk,
we're getting CM Punk.
Give me a CM Punk after the Rumble, okay. Not during the Rumble, after the Rumble, because if it's during the Rumble, everything that we've been predicting for the last 2 or 3 months isn't gonna happen.
You guys got it all wrong.
I'm sorry.
You guys got it. Hold on. You guys got it all wrong. It's not Randy Orton. It's not CM Punk. You know who the referee partner is? Rikishi.
Dustin.
Rikishi.
Rikishi. Finally gonna bring him in. And he's gonna be in War Games, giving stink faces to everybody.
Rikishi.
That's a disgusting. You're disgusting. I'm gonna go.
You might as well get Scotty 2 Hardy up in there too. Shit.
There we go.
He just signed with AEW, so he signed as a trainer with AEW.
Yeah,
so he's not gonna be there. But a guy that I think that a guy that we haven't seen is Dustin Rhodes available.
I think he's still in AEW.
He's still signed with AEW.
He's still with AEW.
Yeah.
Then we're getting CM Punk. We're getting CM Punk. We're getting CM Punk then because Randy Orton coming back into Survivor Series War Games with a bad back.
They said he's been great.
He's not doing that.
They said he's been great though. He's been ready for a while.
Again, he's Randy Orton though. Again, he's one of those guys where all those circumstances don't matter because he is who he is. So
I'll say this. Randy Orton's a bigger draw for WrestleMania. He is a bigger draw for WrestleMania. If you wanted to bring him back before WrestleMania, I can see that happening.
Survivor Series is going to be huge.
I did talk to other people. I'm like, he is Mr. Survivor Series. If that's the element you want to play, Randy Orton is Mr. Survivor Series.
I totally forgot about that. That he's like the ultimate.
He is Mr. Survivor Series.
Why not?
Like he's been the sole survivor like 4 times. He's won. I think did he win the undisputed champ? No, that was TLC. But he's been the sole survivor like 4 times in Survivor Series.
Yeah.
If there's anything that they're going to bring him back for, it would be that. Like he is that. So I do understand it from that standpoint. But I just feel like that's a missed opportunity for WWE right there. But it's going to be interesting to see what happens because I feel like, of course, Randy Orton, 14-time champion, legend in his own right, legend, Hall of Famer. We know that he's going to be all of that when it's all said and done. To have him come back at War Games Survivor Series would be awesome. I'm not going to lie. That would be awesome. Would be awesome. Yep. Just from that standpoint of just Randy Orton and what he brings to the table, legendary wise, it would be awesome to see him come back, be in good health, and have one more run. Definitely have one more run.
If WWE legit brings out CM Punk, that will be the biggest news story ever.
No, it will be, and it will also be like the biggest troll job ever. Because they really they made it clear that like they tried to make it clear that like CM Punk and WWE isn't happening. Like
there's rumors of a meeting, there's no meeting, there's this, there's that.
Yeah, you see reports of them like telling superstars that for the press conferences after the PLEs how to answer questions about CM Punk if he's brought up. Or even telling the reporters ahead of time, like, "Hey, don't ask any CM Punk questions, or you're not going to be allowed to participate in these moving forward." So I've read reports about both. So if it happens, biggest troll, it would be like the biggest troll job ever.
Yeah,
and that would be a noteworthy story. So
yeah,
I mean, they don't need him though. I mean, would it be nice to have him? Of course, but. He's not like a necessity right now.
Him and John will have their last match at WrestleMania.
Big match, John Michael.
Pulled out what two of John's best matches ever. So
yeah.
I mean, I don't need to see Randy Orton versus John Cena like part 6. I don't think I want to see that.
We're way past 6. We're like at 41, 45.
Yeah,
so we're way past 6.
Jesus.
I'm sorry. What year was that when they faced each other all the time? Like 09?
I was just about to say,
15,
all you gotta do is go back to the year 2009. I think it was 2009. Just go back to the year 2009. Watch the main event matches from like SummerSlam all the way towards like Survivor Series. It's nothing but Cena and Orton. It's like I remember that Survivor Series, that SummerSlam match that had like three different finishes because people kept interfering and all that crap. So yeah,
the Iron Man match. What was that? Breaking Point or?
Yeah. Oh, that was bragging rights.
The paper.
That was the pay per view they were trying. The Raw versus SmackDown pay-per-view they were trying. Bragging rights.
Right before Survivor Series.
Right before.
I'll never forget it. It had a 2-week build. A 2-week build for that show.
We don't need that.
Yeah.
We don't need that. Yeah, we don't need that for sure.
Better. But hey.
Oh, why is everything messing up right now?
Yeah, but hey, whether it's Orton or Punk or hell, they might surprise us and give us somebody that nobody was even thinking about.
Dolph's back.
Who is somebody else that can be who is somebody else that Cody could be talking about?
He said we have friends. So is anybody
AJ?
But he would have to be traded.
Like he can't make that happen.
See,
he has the pull, right?
Yeah, and
AJ would be nice, but in that see is AJ Styles at the level of Randy Orton where people just want to see him now where it's just like people don't care about the story, they just want to see AJ Styles.
Yeah.
See, because if that's the case, then AJ worked.
It wasn't even the Judgment Day that took out AJ. It was the Bloodline.
It was the Bloodline. Yeah.
So that beef is not his.
Yeah. I don't know.
I can't even think of anybody else. Who else is
Goldberg?
Stop it.
Stop mentioning this.
Stop it. That's the second time. One more time he's gonna appear.
Exactly. Well, you keep mentioning this guy.
Oh man. Goldberg, bro. They're friends from WCW.
No.
Come on, man. Give Goldberg a shot.
No.
You don't want Goldberg and War
He's
Games?
had too many shots. He beat the Fiend. He beat the Fiend. It's not fair.
He's on his last leg.
He beat the Fiend. It's not fair.
That was it.
See, Lewis, we can't even bring that up. You can't even bring that up anymore because of Bray Wyatt. God rest his soul. We're not going to mention any of that bullshit anymore.
Exactly. That's why Goldberg should not come back.
Oh man. But yeah, potential Randy Orton return at Survivor Series. We will see how that goes for sure. It's going to be interesting to see who that mystery man is for them because now they're outnumbered and Judgment Day is looking like they're at full strength, and it will be interesting to see who Cody calls out to even the odds. Let's get into AEW Full Gear happening on the 18th, this Saturday, I believe it is. Big time show at the Forum for AEW out there. MJF is the talk of the town, pulling double duty. We still don't know his tag team partner for the ROH championship against the Guns, and then turning around and facing Jay White at the end of the night. We also have Sting and Darby Allin and Edge versus Christian, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne. That going on as well. John Moxley versus Orange Cassidy.
Adam Copeland.
Oh,
my bad.
Edge.
My bad.
Edge retired.
My bad, Tony Khan. My bad.
Edge retired. AEW. Gotta get that right.
My bad, Tony Khan. My bad. We have Hangman Page versus Swerve Strickland in the Texas Death Match. The Golden Jets, Kenny Omega, Chris Jericho, and the Young Bucks. Oh wait, nope, I read that wrong. Kenny Omega and Chris Jericho versus the Young Bucks as well. I guess it's for the number one contendership that the Young Bucks have there.
Mm-hmm. It's for the number one contender, for the Young Bucks' title shot, and if the Bucks win, then Jericho and Omega can't team up anymore.
Mm. And when did it turn into the Bucks
Tony Storm for the AEW?
Sorry, so what did you say, Lewis?
I said when did it turn into the Bucks versus Kenny and Jericho?
I think it was either last week or 2 weeks ago on Dynamite. I think the Bucks had confronted them backstage, and the Bucks were pretty much like mad at Kenny because they felt like he was doing too much stuff with Jericho, and he needed to be more focused on the elite group and doing elite things. So I guess they're pretty much fed up. They're fed up with the tag team, and then they threw out the challenge.
That's interesting.
Oh man, Don Callis is somewhere lurking with that screwdriver.
I mean,
he's out there.
I mean, his family. They just main evented Dynamite with that eight-man tag match that was sponsored by a new Sega game that's coming out. So, but yeah. So they.
What do you guys think about Sting, Darby Allin, and Adam Copeland versus Christian, Luchasaurus, and Nick Wayne? Apparently, Ric Flair is coming out with Sting and Darby Allin. After that segment last week with Edge, Christian, and Ric Flair. Sorry, my bad.
All right, so Ric Flair is going to be coming out with Sting and everyone. I guess obviously you see the nostalgia with that, but as far as this story goes, with Adam Copeland,
it's the last Monday Night Nitro, folks.
yeah, those two, yeah. But it's just, I'm like, I don't know. See, I've been very underwhelmed with Adam Copeland since he's come to AEW.
Yeah.
Like when he first came, he had the impact. He had the impact of him signing. And it was around the same time that Jade had gone to WWE, so there was a lot of buzz in the wrestling industry, and everybody was kind of waiting for that episode of Dynamite for him to finally debut. And then that kind of tied into the whole Tuesday Night War with NXT and Dynamite when he made his match debut. So all this hype was surrounding it. But ever since his debut match, like things have like dropped off tremendously. Like this story isn't even about Adam Copeland and Christian anymore. Like this story has literally turned into Sting's last hurrah. Like that's literally how they've been booking this 6-man. It's been booked around Sting and Christian. It should be Adam Copeland and Christian, which was how the story started. So it's pretty the whole dynamics of the whole story have changed, and I don't think it's been for the better. Like Adam Copeland has definitely cooled off since he's debuted, and I mean it's a multi-man AEW 6 match, so you're expecting your daily dose of organized chaos, maybe a little less because Sting is in the match, but then again you got crazy ass Darby Allin who apparently everybody thinks he's not going to make it to the age of 30 now, and he had some words to say about it. So. So as far as this actual match goes, it's gonna be entertaining. There's gonna be a lot of story elements to it. I mean, Sting, Adam Copeland, and Christian are vets. So they'll definitely know how to structure the match properly. But the whole story going into it is very underwhelming.
Again, another just multi-man match
because it's changed. It's changed from Edge wanting to team with Christian to him wanting to get revenge against Christian to now him helping Sting fight Christian. And it's like, I don't know why that's the perfect foil. I don't feel like that's the perfect foil right now for Christian right now, but I feel like they're just looking at it. We don't want Edge to just beat Luchasaurus and then just face Christian.
Yeah.
So I feel like they're trying to actually build that backstory through Christian just doing heinous shit. And I feel like that's what they're going to be looking at to do. And then eventually we're going to get that one-on-one.
and here's the thing about it. If they do the one-on-one with Adam Copeland and Christian, obviously us as fans, we're gonna enjoy it. But this is the same company that I think it was Chris Jericho who said that, like, when AEW first started, that you weren't gonna get matches like that, like veterans against veterans, or like a Chris Jericho versus an Adam Copeland, or a Chris Jericho versus a Christian. You said he had said that you were going to get a lot of mixture of the veterans and the new talent. So if the ultimate goal is to get Adam Copeland and Christian, doesn't that kind of like go against what the whole company was supposed to stand for when they started?
Yeah.
I mean, well, they signed 90 50-year-olds.
and they're doing that on top of it too, which makes
like a 50-year, isn't Christian 50 or up there close to 50?
Something like that.
So, yeah.
Hey, it looks good for his age.
And now he's fighting Sting, goddammit.
It was in the 60s.
Now he's fighting Sting. I mean, I don't know, man. I don't know. I just feel like they kind of backed themselves into a corner and didn't really know what to do. But I thought Adam Copeland versus Christian wrote itself, and they can kind of just build everything around that. Maybe this is just a subplot for it, but
he's
it's going to be
49.
interesting to see what they do going forward. He's right at 50. I guess he's one of the young guys.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's just crazy because like Edge is up there.
He's 50.
And then you add Ric Flair to it. It's like, okay, like
Jesus.
Edge. I feel like Edge doesn't need all that fluff around him.
Yeah,
and that's not to say Sting and Darby Allin is, but I feel like Edge was there to stand on his own. You know what I mean? But I don't know. What do you guys think about MJF pulling double duty here and his whole storyline there of will he, won't he team with Samoa Joe and this whole thing with Jay White?
See, actually, me and Lewis and I were actually talking about this before we started recording about MJF and his current booking right now in AEW, and they have really like overexposed him, and when you look at like the last couple of weeks, it's like MJF against the world. Like, I mean, he's in like 3 or 4 different feuds, and they're all being featured on television
at the same time.
At the same time, this man's in a feud. He's feuding with Jay White in the Bullet Club and the Bullet Club Gold. He's feuding with Wardlow. They just showed a package of Wardlow talking about how he's coming for MJF. He's feuding with Samoa Joe, whether or not they're going to be friends or not. You still got Adam. You still have Adam Cole out there with the friendship, or Roderick Strong and the Kingdom. So you still have that going on out there.
Yeah,
mm-hmm. He's in like 4 different feuds right now, and they're showing them all on TV, overexposing the hell out of him. And it's like MJF is like your top. Not only is he your top guy, but he honestly is the number one reason why people tune in to see Dynamite right now. But besides maybe Tony Storm in the women's division right now. But he's the top guy, mm-hmm. and similar. I know obviously Roman Reigns and MJF, 2 completely different talents, 2 completely different ways of booking, 2 completely different levels right now. But you see what they do with Roman. They make Roman special to the chagrin of a lot of people that want a world champion on their roster every week. But they make Roman special by not showing him every week, not overexposing him, and then when he does show up, it's a special occasion. With MJF now, it's like they're slowly slowly like killing his appeal, and he makes up for it because he's such a great character. But how much longer is he going to be able to make up for it if they keep booking him that way? But as far as
until they add the new signee this Saturday,
Dolph.
See, I mentioned that. I feel like, see, it has to be. See, I shared the tweet from Tony Khan where he pretty much said that like this is somebody that AEW fans universally respect and such. So I just hope it's not Sasha Banks. Just please, not Mercedes Moné. Please, no.
Why not?
Why not? Who?
That's
because as much as it would be great to see her, now that Vince is no longer in charge of creative, that issue needs to be resolved with her in WWE. We don't know what happened, but obviously it involved Vince McMahon. Vince McMahon is not there anymore. So you would think one phone call, one sit down would be able to work everything out. And I just feel like AEW's women's division is already suffering right now, and they desperately would need a Mercedes Moné, but their division is so garbage right now that she'll add to it, but like her and Toni Storm, and then what? It's just be like, I don't know. It's just that I don't think there's enough there for her, as opposed to what's going on in WWE right now.
Yeah, if their roster highlighted more women's stories, yeah, it probably would be more appealing. But right now, it's like you literally get one women's match per show, so it's like, and then it's usually the same stuff. It's usually the Toni Storm stuff, or it's usually the Ruby Soho stuff, I guess, or even only on Rampage you get the TBS Championship, which is hardly ever defended. So it's like, yeah, I would like, maybe it would.
Who has a match at Full Gear?
Maybe it would elevate the women's division a bit. Maybe give them more exposure by bringing her, because she's gonna be a giant advocate for them. Like, no, we need more matches, we need more storylines. But we'll see.
I feel like it's going to be Sasha Banks because they desperately need somebody for the women's division. And it's something where they can actually bring up that demographic, bring up that viewership where it's like, we need something else because obviously all these guys are getting hurt. MJF has been carrying the show, yes, but we need something else to bring eyes to the product. And even if that can jumpstart the women's division, which is obviously a glaring disparity right now, even though, as Brian said, like, the AEW's women's division hasn't been taken care of, hasn't been doing the right things. Maybe Sasha Banks can be the person that comes in there and change things for them. And maybe that's what she's looking at. It's an opportunity to showcase herself, kind of like Trinity went to Impact and did and transformed herself down there. Maybe Sasha Banks can come in here, be new. My bad. Mercedes Moné, come in and be different for AEW and lead that division and really start something down there, because they have talent in the women's division, obviously, but they just haven't been used correctly. So it's going to be interesting to see if she's going to be signed. Outside of that, I just think of another New Japan pro wrestler. I don't think anybody else could sign there and be different for them to that magnitude that Tony Khan put out there. So I don't know who else could it be.
Yeah.
All right. So we saw the tweet that he sent out. Now Mercedes Moné, I think she's still recovering from that ankle injury, correct?
Yeah.
So based upon the nature of the tweet that he sent out, it definitely seemed like he was going to sign somebody that's available next week. Now, is Mercedes Moné still enough of an impact signing wherein if it was her and she signed the contract and she was going to be out for another 3 months, you think that would like suffice and still be exciting enough?
Yeah, she's a big enough star that even if they had to wait, people would still look forward to it a lot.
I mean, if they built it up and said she's appearing at World's End or in January or AEW Revolution, I think they could kind of milk it and kind of build towards that. But I don't know. I don't see anybody else right now that they could sign. Probably again, somebody from New Japan. I mentioned it earlier. Maybe a Tanahashi who's looking to wrap up his career and come stateside. Maybe it's Okada. I don't think, as Brian said earlier, I don't think New Japan Pro Wrestling would do that. So outside of those two, I don't know anybody else who they can sign that will garner Tony Khan putting out an announcement like that.
The Rainmaker is New Japan. So that's
for sure.
The Rainmaker is New Japan. So that's why when you said Okada, I said absolutely not. But if there is,
they got Kota Ibushi.
Yeah, which they haven't done a damn thing with besides put him in multi-man matches since they've signed him. Which is ridiculous. Now there is one match that
he's on All Gear.
There is one match on the card that I am looking forward to, and it's more so because of the face-to-face promo segment that they had on Dynamite tonight before we started recording, and that's Swerve Strickland and Hangman Page which is now a Texas Death Match. Which I'm glad they put some stipulations on it, because this feud has been personal enough where it needed something like that. I mean, anytime you have any angles where people are going to other people's houses, it has to be more personal at that point. And the crazy thing about the promo dude that they had on Dynamite tonight, Swerve didn't say a damn thing. It was all Hangman. Hangman pretty much just came out and pretty much just let it all out. Pretty much saying how personal this is for him, about how he started mentioning personal things about Swerve's life, talking about that's why your fiance left you because you're so full of shit as a person. And then when you talk about how he crossed the line when he came to his house, and talking about how me and my son will walk hand in hand, and my son is gonna end up pissing on your grave when I'm done with you, and like it's personal now, and it was all this thing, man. And I guess apparently they had the stipulation saying that like if during this face-to-face, if there was any physical confrontation, both men would be suspended and the match would be called off. But then Hangman said, "Yeah, that's me and you. That's not Prince Nana though."
Yeah.
So then Hangman started attacking Prince Nana, and obviously Swerve couldn't do anything about it because he couldn't get physical. And then security came in and separated everybody, which I thought was creative. But that feud.
No, I mean,
I've loved it because now we're seeing Swerve at a whole nother level now, and they desperately needed like that guy, that one guy to finally like step up, and that's been Swerve. So.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Now it's definitely good to see Swerve getting that spotlight in AEW, basically creating somebody. It's not a Jungle Boy. It's not Sammy Guerrero. It's not these other guys that we've seen in the past that have been on TV a lot. It's actually somebody that they've gotten signed and now building up properly. And he's been trying to find his way there. And now with the Embassy, Prince Nana and all that, and against another being in a top tier match against a guy like Hangman Page, it's gonna be good. And AEW is known for gnarly stuff, so it's definitely going to be interesting to see who gets the win here, because Adam Hangman Page has been kind of trying to regain his footing, and maybe this is a way to propel him back into the main event scene. But this is an opportunity for Swerve Strickland to get that rub, to get that shine, and get to main event level status in AEW for sure. So it's good to see him in that spotlight. For sure. Let's continue here. I think that's about it. We got Kushida versus Tony Storm. Tony Storm has obviously been building this movie star character for the longest time now. What do you guys think about that match?
No, Louis, you just said it. I'm going to add on to that. It is mandatory for Tony Storm to walk out of the arena with the championship. Like we've been saying, the women's division is struggling right now, and the only bright spot has been her since she started this whole Marilyn Monroe character. I mean, they did a whole segment on Dynamite tonight where I guess apparently that they had a new signing last week who's supposed to apparently be now a fan of Tony Storm, come in and try to meet her. Mm-hmm. I guess apparently like Tony Storm was in her gimmick. She was like laying on the couch with cucumbers over her eyes, and Van comes in. And said, oh my God, I'm so glad, I can't believe I'm meeting Tony Storm, and then she's pretty much acting like this fan is like a waste of her time and all that stuff. And then I love the introduction of Luther the Butler, who's a veteran wrestler who's been, I think he started the same year Chris Jericho did, so him and Chris Jericho have been very tight for a number of years. So I definitely love that aspect to the gimmick, but. Yeah, it's mandatory that she walks out with this title, because realistically, as much as I like Hikaru Shida as a champion, I mean she's a 3-time AEW Women's Champion, and it's just like so.
Yeah, exactly.
You would think that should mean something, but it's just like, okay, she's a 3-time Women's Champion and she's great in the ring. Okay,
That last win, I
it.
was like, when the hell did she even get the title? And then she like lost it. I was like,
it's like she's the ultimate transition champion.
Yeah, basically.
So, no, that's what she is. She's the ultimate transition champion. If you're a heel and you need someone to beat, just beat Hikaru Shida.
Yeah.
Yeah, but Tony
It's
Storm
time for her. It's time for her to pull on a laundry. It's time for her to pull on a laundry blade. Blaze, show up on SmackDown, drop the title in the trash, and join Damage Control.
Tony Storm needs to win the title, and this honestly needs to be the beginning of like a very, very, very long reign.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
At least
something
until
with dramatics, because she's obviously.
At least until Britt Baker comes back.
Say that again, sorry.
At least until Britt Baker comes back.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, she definitely needs the title, and I feel like something where the women's division hasn't been gaining a lot of traction, and having Toni Storm with her character, and she's been able to develop this mainstream appeal that nobody has really tapped into. So for her to do that and find this character over this time and to continue to build it the way she has, definitely adding the title to her would bring more eyes to it, because she has definitely, at least on the AEW women's division, she's it. She's the main attraction right now. Sorry to Shida there. But yeah, Toni Storm needs to get that title. She definitely needs to get that title.
For sure.
Most definitely. That will do it for AEW Full Gear there. That was just Saturday. We'll see what happens there. Obviously, we'll be following along as well. I don't think there was anything else for the week. We saw a couple rumblings there. Obviously, we got a lot of going on with Otis and Shinsuke fighting each other on Raw. Shinsuke having to put like 4 Kinshasas on Otis to take him down. So that was interesting. LA Knight battling Grayson Waller on SmackDown as well. So there's been a little ins and outs there, but obviously just trying to build for Survivor Series. We'll see how that happens. We'll see what happens continuing on SmackDown and see what storylines develop there. But that will wrap it up for episode 41 of Ring Takes, guys. As always, thank you guys for joining me. I will wrap this up. If I can find this thing. No, I can't find it. Here we go. Thank you guys for joining me as always.